Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends on the United WeCast network. I'm Rick Bucher. He's 10-year NFL vet and Super Bowl champ, Will Blackman. You can catch him on NFL Game Day live, Sundays on NFL Network and on Twitter at Will Blackman. You can read my stuff on Bleacher Report and at Rick Bucher, RICBUCHER, on Twitter. And you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. Also, if you enjoy the show, please drop us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Screenshot your review and tweet it to us at Bucher Friends, and you'll be entered for a chance to win some swag from Ryan, Will, or me. And right now, I believe the next 50 people that send us a screenshot of their review will have a shot at winning a football autographed by the one, the only Jerry Rice. What do you think of that? How about that?
I want one of his Newman gloves. That's what I want.
With the adhesive, not the stickum. Don't call it stickum.
It's not the adhesive.
It's the adhesive spray, not the stickum.
Listen, I think the biggest violator of all time might be Fred Blitnikoff.
Oh, no doubt.
My goodness, they have an award after him.
And he just had it like he had the stickum because it was
on
yellowish, right?
It was like
socks,
brownish. It looked like caramel.
His thigh pads.
He needed someone to open bubble gum and give it to him and feed it to him because he couldn't do it.
Good stuff. Oh, have you seen the commercial with Stephon Diggs when he's at the Geico commercial?
The mailbox,
Yeah, I thought that was very funny. All right, we have plenty to get to, beginning with the game between the Tennessee Titans and the Dallas Cowboys. The Tennessee Titans winning the battle of 3 and 4 teams, 28-14. And I'll start here, Will. Just your general takeaway from the result.
I just saw an uninspired Cowboys offense. That's what I saw from all the above. I thought the defense played pretty well. They had some opportunities. They got 2 turnovers to begin with in the beginning of the game, and the offense didn't capitalize. You know, I saw Damian Woody. He made a good point on Twitter. He said he's not sold on Dak, but before he writes him off, he wants to see him with a new coaching staff.
Fair. I just look at what is it that you think he can do that he hasn't shown to this point?
I mean, when it comes down to it, the number one thing for any quarterback is decision-making.
Right.
And I believe in this game, Mario didn't have any outstanding, crazy numbers, but he won the game with his decision-making.
He did, but he did it primarily with his legs. The decisions to run at opportune times.
And that's a decision he had to make.
And I agree. Mariota was the better quarterback in this game and might have been potentially the difference in the two teams. I also read today where the question is Mariota a $100 million man? And I know that the going rate for quarterbacks these days is 20 million plus if you can just be a starting quarterback in the league of any note. That said, that seems awfully rich for me for Marcus Mariota, who even in this game demonstrated there were opportunities to throw the ball and he couldn't hit a guy wide open in the end zone on an easy route.
Davis, right.
So equating what I saw tonight with $100 million and understanding that it's a pricey position, that's hard for me to digest.
It's very difficult, you know, and I'm not going to say it's the same, but it's very similar to when people were curious about what is Jacksonville going to do with Blake Bortles and where his contract was up, and they didn't go out and give him the huge deal that Aaron Rodgers got, that Jimmy Garoppolo got, but they gave him a contract saying, hey, we're committed to you. You know, we want you here. And also, I think just as a person, he represents the organization well. So I think with that, and he is a sense of stability for them. So, I mean, right now with the new staff, he still has plenty of games left to go this year, and we'll see what happens.
But if I'm not mistaken, Bortles' deal is worth about $16 a year, and it's not what it's this year and maybe next year. They got an easy out.
They have an option. Yeah, the option out. Right. So it's 3 years, $54 million.
Right. That's a lot different than $100 million. And I don't know that I heard years, but I'm assuming it's 4 or 5 years for $100 million. That's a couple of key positions that you won't be able to pay if you're investing it in your quarterback. And I get too that the intangibles, the comfort level, and it's easy to say, okay, he's not the guy that you build around. Okay, well, who is? Where are you going to get that quarterback? Sometimes it's you make the best with what you have. I get all that. But I also feel it where the Titans are when you hit your wagon. And then maybe some of it too is how easily can they get out of the deal? I don't mind giving $100 million deal if it's not really $100 million guaranteed, where after if you decide
you and every franchise.
Yeah, I know. Well, and that's how they're approaching things these days, right?
So it could be a short-term guarantee deal. Yeah. I could see something like that.
This is not a subject. I mean, this is a larger subject, but this is what troubles me about the NFL pay scale in general and the way it works. Quarterbacks get the most guaranteed money. They are the most protected position, as opposed to, say, running backs, or name another position where they can suddenly fall off the cliff. To me, you would protect the guys where their career could change dramatically. Those are the guys who deserve to have a little more security. No?
It is. They do deserve it, but like you said, that position may fall off the cliff, and then the team is stuck.
See, this is the thing with this is what bothers me about the NFL, and maybe because I'm so ensconced in the NBA, where it's such a different dynamic. I get the business aspect of the NFL, and that it's a violent sport. Guys get hurt. They suddenly are not the same player when they get hurt. But there's just something inherently wrong with it. The spirit of it is wrong to me, that guys go out there and they can have a debilitating injury and they're just gone. They're gone. And whatever they've got in the bank is what they've got in the bank, and they have no protection from that. And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir in saying this, but it just inherently bothers me that that's the way the league works. All right. Yeah. That was as much a comment as you needed to make, right?
That's all you got from me. Yeah. Moving on.
Yes. Moving on. All right. So the Cowboys lose, and they were talking about it during the broadcast that, with the NFC East, they got to stay pace, but the Redskins, they've lost all these players. Like, it's wide open. I don't know about you. I haven't seen the Cowboys all year as the team that is going to win this division. We can talk about where they are in the mix and what the standings are. I just never got the sense that they were going to be better than both the Redskins and the Eagles. If you give me the Cowboys or you give me the field in the NFC East, I would take the field in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I had them, battling between 3 and 4 with the Giants to start the season off. I had Philly obviously winning it again. I had the Redskins in second, but as the season went on, I can see them. Even still, I can see the Redskins taking it.
Yeah, still, even now.
Well, no, obviously minus the fact that what happened this past Sunday, up until what just happened to them.
Right.
I don't know. It's ugly right now in this division.
Truly is. The door is open for the Eagles to win this division again. As kind of sideways as they've been, I'm not a believer in the Cowboys. The Redskins seemingly lost their entire offensive line. A couple guys, Sheriff to season-ending surgery. They're a mess. And I liked their chances a couple weeks ago. I don't like their chances at all now. So you have the Eagles still winning this division.
Well, I do now.
Yeah. What do you make of the Titans? Does this win mean anything?
It does mean something because, one, it's on primetime. 2, it's in Dallas. It just shows that the AFC South is actually pretty competitive. And the Colts, Andrew Luck, they're coming off their bye, and they had a couple of big wins. Jacksonville's trying to figure it out. Houston is rolling. They're doing very well. And Tennessee had a huge win today. So that's an interesting division itself.
All right, so I'm going to throw a couple teams at you. We've got the Dolphins at 5-4. We got the Bengals at 5-3. Titans at 4-4. We got the Chiefs and the Chargers way ahead of everybody in the AFC West. As of right now, who would you put your money on to be the second wild card team, assuming that there are going to be 2 teams coming out of the AFC West?
As of now, Houston's going to come out of the South. New England's going to come out the East. Pittsburgh, king of the North.
Right.
So right now you got 5 teams.
Who is the 6th team in your mind right now? Dolphins, Bengals, If you want to put the Ravens in there, you can. Titans, you can put the Jags in there if you still
I
believe
just
in
hope
them.
Jacksonville figures it out. I can't count the Jags out yet.
I keep waiting for you to say Bengals. You're not saying Bengals.
No, I don't trust the Bengals.
Well, I understand that, but they are 5-3. I mean, they do have the best record of all of the remaining teams.
Might have surgery on his foot. That's a huge deal.
That is a huge deal. So you're still going Jags in that 6th spot.
I'm still going Jags.
All right. I teased this in our last podcast. I need to get your take on it. Vikings won again. Case Keenum and the Denver Broncos lost, and this was to the Houston Texans. But Case Keenum did everything in that game to put them in position to win, marching them down, 51-yard field goal, missed field goal. They end up losing 19-17 to the Texans. The Texans escaped from that game. And as I was watching Keenum play against what I think is a fairly decent defense in the Texans and getting things done, I thought, for all that Kirk Cousins is doing and the success that the Minnesota Vikings are having, is he really worth the additional money that it costs to get him and replace Keenum?
I think that the Vikings got Keenum. They kind of had an idea, already knew what he was. A very reliable backup who can come in and get the job done, right? And I think that's kind of where they had his ceiling, probably. At the time, they needed a actual franchise quarterback, and the hottest quarterback on the market at the time was Kirk.
Okay, fair enough. I'm struggling with Cousins being the hottest quarterback on the market. Was it because of availability or because he's really capable of being?
I think because of the availability, and he is though. I mean, he's going to get you the numbers every year, But that's I know that's played out, and that's everyone's like, well, he needs to win the big situation. But I think that team is built. Like I had their defense being probably a top 5 defense, if not the best defense coming into the season. So Kirk went to a situation where basically when he was in Washington with the Redskins, when Scott McCloughan was the general manager, his mission was build a team where Kirk doesn't have to do anything,
right?
But not give the ball away. Basically, he said, "I'm gonna take care of you, take care of me." What he did for Alex Smith in San Fran, built him a team, awesome running game, stud receivers, and just a unreal defense. So he went to Minnesota and he got that. He has a great running game. He has 2 outstanding receivers. He has a Pro Bowl tight end. And the defense on paper is legit. So essentially he went to a situation where he doesn't have to do much but move the chains, get good yards, make good plays. He doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers. But
at some point in the postseason, like regular season, I get that. Postseason, there always comes a time where, especially, and I think I look at the Vikings, where you're going to need somebody to make a big play. So offensively, if it's not Kirk Cousins, who's going to make that big play?
It's going to have to be Kirk.
Yes. That's where I look at the fatal flaw of the Minnesota Vikings. I think
that's why players get paid for what teams expect them to do, not for what they have done.
Agreed.
Hence an investment. So he's in a situation where, once again, he has a great head coach in Zimmerman. He has a great coordinator in DeFilippo. So he's in a situation where they believe that when it comes down to it, that he will figure out a way to get it done.
Right. The whole conversation about Marcus Mariota, and we've talked in the past about Jameis Winston, makes me think, and we go through this every year with the quarterbacks when they come in. These are franchise guys. Every time there's guys drafted high, they're franchise guys. And right? I mean, it's the way everybody builds it up. Like,
well, yeah, because especially if you draft in there, you get your quarterback.
So this year we had 4 or 5 guys that were supposed to be franchise guys. Baker Mayfield's supposed to be a franchise guy. Sam Darnold, a franchise guy. Josh Allen's supposed to be a franchise guy. Josh Rosen's supposed to be a franchise guy. Is it too early for you to kind of winnow out maybe who still has a chance to be a franchise guy? Like, when you look at all of the guys in this draft, can you already handicap, okay, I don't know what they're going to be, but these are the guys from what you've seen to this point. And granted, it's only a half season. Some of them are on not very good teams. But have you seen enough where you can say, okay, this guy still has a chance to be a franchise guy, and this guy, he might stay in the league, he might still be a starter in the league, but he's not going to be a guy that you're going to build around at the quarterback position.
Right now, Baker, for sure. I thought he's definitely going to be a franchise quarterback, and he is. That's the guy they wanted. That's the guy they went after and drafted. And I see everything in him to be that guy. I can see Josh Rosen. He has the mindset, obviously, the ability to throw the ball wherever he wants, and just his smarts, just playing quarterback. I definitely can see him. Sam Darnold, despite him, leading the league, and I mean, he threw crazy interceptions.
Yes.
But that was the thing too, is when he's under duress, he has issues. And I mean, there's nothing
that
more
goes
clear.
Back to USC.
Yeah, when they played Ohio State, they just lit him up, and he couldn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So,
is the jury out?
I mean, the jury's out because he just got drafted. Sometimes you can see it early, or sometimes it might take a few years. We didn't. Essentially, this is Pat Mahomes' first year being a full, playing at all. This is his first year as a full starter, and sometimes they just show you right away, like, yeah, he's definitely going to be it.
It certainly helps, and not to take anything away from what Mahomes has done because he's special, but it helps that he's got so many weapons around him. He's got some crazy number of touchdowns already. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, but you can give it to Tyreek Hill on a 5-yard slant, and he's getting to the end zone because he's just got that blow-away speed. I mean, there are so many great options around him, not taking anything away from him, but he's in an ideal situation to look brilliant right from the start.
Yeah, but Alex Smith had the same players.
True. I'm not saying it wasn't a great move, but I'm just saying in comparison to some of the other young quarterbacks that we're seeing. I mean, Josh Rosen, I appreciate that you see Josh the way you do, because that's the way I saw him coming into the draft. And even now, I've seen enough to think that if he had a better team around him, he could do a lot more than he's doing. But there's a great disparity between the team that Mahomes has around him and all these other young quarterbacks have.
So there were a lot of bad teams, obviously, they picked early that needed a quarterback. And they pretty much saw like the potential in each one. Also too, I saw just a lot of, maybe a couple of GMs fell into like the media hype, really, really, boosting all these quarterbacks up. And I know John Dorsey, I know Alonzo Highsmith, I know Elliott Wolf, I know that entire Browns front office because they were in Green Bay. They're under the whole Ron Wolf tree. And I know they did their homework, and they know how to build football teams, winning football teams. And so I knew for them to get Baker, and just once again, I keep reiterating his story and what he has done and how he is and what his resiliency. That's why I can for sure put my money on like he is going to be.
All right, this is just an aside because I just found out in the last couple of days that my daughter is good friends with the daughter of John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers. And you got to love this. My daughter was not, she goes, Dad, my friend's dad works for the 49ers. Do you know him? I go, I don't know. What's his last name? She goes, Lynch? I go, he's the GM of the 49ers. And she was asking me like today, she was asking me, what kind of job is he doing? Like, how is he doing? And I said, well, he lost his quarterback. He had a really good quarterback. He lost that earlier. I think the expectations were put a little too high for this team based on the way they finished last year. But, by and large, I haven't been watching that close. I haven't studied every move that he's made, so it's really hard for me to say. I know I didn't prepare you for this, but I just wanted to throw it out there so I'd have a better answer for
No, that is funny.
The next time we talk about that.
Okay.
What's your view of the job that John Lynch has done so far with this 49ers team, in spite of all the injury setbacks that they've had?
Before I get there, I want to go back to your franchise quarterback question because I want to mention something.
Yep. How
you have to give them time. Sometimes you can't see it right away. When I was in Green Bay, we had Favre when I was drafted, and Aaron Rodgers was waiting and waiting and waiting. They just knew they had their guy because they saw everything they needed to see. So when Brett left in 2008 and Aaron took over, yeah, there was a little bit, of turbulence there for 2 years. And then the third year that he wins the Super Bowl, So sometimes it just takes time because the first year we finished 8-8 and they were just like, oh man, but you saw things that he was able to do. And it just takes time.
Right. What was it that you saw that convinced you that Aaron could become what he is now? And what was he doing that he's not doing now that made you an 8-8 team?
I think just the speed of the game, him truly seeing live action and understanding what defense, because he got a lot of looks when he came in. He was young. And of course, but once they figure it out, like I think Pat Mahomes, he gets every look, but he just figures it out because he's a gamer. It's what he does when the play breaks down.
Right.
That's what separates everybody. Baker, when the play breaks down for him, he's constantly moving, and these eyes are downfield. He never panics, and I think that's where Dak struggles is once there's issues, once there's a lot of pressure, huge rush, like the interception he threw. Do you throw that, or do you throw it out of bounds, or do you just take the sack?
The one young quarterback that we didn't address, Josh Allen with the Bills.
Josh Allen he's young, I think the Bills fell in love with the fact that he can rip the ball 80 yards, and that was that, So
he looks good. He looks good in the team picture.
He looks
right. He looks like an NFL quarterback. He's got
he's every bit.
The measurables.
We worked out here together. It was him, Sam Donnelly. We were all here in Southern California, and I seen them all both work out. Okay. And Josh Allen, he's an incredible athlete. I watched him run around and work out, and he's just super athletic. And you saw it on some of his runs when he was starting.
I get that, but to me, the secret sauce to an NFL quarterback is being able to. It's not speed of foot or even arm necessarily. It's speed of being able to see and process what you see.
I'm not saying that's why he can be. I'm just saying he's more than he looks great. He's tall and has a great arm.
There's more to him than that.
Yeah, there's more to him than that. Some guys are fast learners, some aren't.
Fair enough.
So it's really, really hard to tell.
Okay, we have one more topic to get to.
Hold on, really quick.
Oh, you have questions. What am I doing?
Three.
You have
no,
three
you're
questions?
Good. You're good.
Okay.
So I got my Ask Will Blackman. Give me your questions and concerns. So I'm going to start with at DTrainMLB. You know who that is? Dontrell Willis.
Fantastic. Okay.
MLB pitcher, my dog. He said, I got one. Whose fault is it that the Raiders are so damn bad?
Wow.
So, D-Train, just imagine you walk into this wonderful neighborhood, right? And you find a home, the square footage you want, it's the room you want, it has everything, all of it.
Story time with Will Black.
However, the cabinets need to be updated. The floor needs to be ripped up and redone. The landscaping, the piping has to be redone. The piping's probably from 1982. You have to redo this home, flip this entire house. And that's what they're going through right now. That's why he signed a 10-year deal.
Right. Although they did a lot of upgrading under Jack Del Rio. Now, what they were doing schematically, but
now.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the infrastructure, Al was still running things like, their system was pieces of paper in Al's pocket. It was so antiquated, and they upgraded a lot of those things. Now, they may still have 2 or 3 more steps to go, but they were already in the process.
Yeah, they brought in Reggie McKenzie, who was a Ron Wolf heir apparent as well. But they brought in John to do his thing, and they signed off for it, and he's doing his thing. So right now, they're just taking their licks because they know they are going to change this entire place.
Are you of the belief that John knows? I know he's doing the tear down, but tearing down and then, remodeling it into a mansion are two different things. It's easy to kind of look and say,
you can run out of money and run out of time. All right. Anyhow, question number 3.
Okay. You're going to dodge that one. You're not telling me whether you believe in John Gruden or not.
Listen, I called him. He didn't get back to me. So no, I don't believe in him.
There you go.
All right. So next question.
Let's make it personal.
I make everything personal in NFL because that's just what it is. It's from at Tony Russ 17. Will, I have a question that no one will answer. Why do some DB coaches teach their players to play man and not play the ball? The reason I'm asking is Falcons corner Isaiah Oliver, who I know really well, played the ball very well in man coverage at Colorado. He gets to the Falcons and he's playing man and is struggling to make a play on the ball. There was a play I saw he got scored on. with his back turned. But however, here's the deal. If you're in trail position, meaning you're not either ahead of the receiver or next to him, you're trailing, they teach you to play the hands, because if you look back, there's a chance they could push off and they can create more separation. So I don't know. That's one of the things Isaiah Oliver was really known for, was playing the ball in the air. So that, I don't know what they're telling. He has a great coach in Dan Quinn and Marquand Manuel down there. I played in that system. So he should be on top. But we talked about the quarterbacks getting adjusted. Maybe that's something that he's trying to learn as well. Maybe he's in a situation where he doesn't want to mess up. Maybe I'll ask Isaiah. How about that?
A little insider information. Good.
Last question is from Bone AL88. And this is good. He said, my concerns are 3 big Redskin losses via injury. And that is a huge concern, because you lost Sean Laval for the year. You lost Brandon Scherr. Trent Williams is injured. You lost Paul Richardson. Morgan Moses got injured. So those are 4 really, really, really good guys in that offensive line, which is why Adrian Peterson is having the year he's having. That is what makes the offense go. Yeah, those are huge. So this is what's interesting. Those are massive concerns. However, times like this is where you truly see real coaching from everyone. You see real management from the front office. What do? Have they got the right pieces to have depth you can trust?
Right.
That's the one thing the Seahawks are really good at. They train the bottom of their roster so well. God forbid an injury happens, those guys can step right in and not skip a beat. So it'll be interesting to see if the Redskins front office and coaches have done a great job of doing that, so that, they're able to maintain. And then you also look at leadership. What is that going to be like when you lose all those guys to injuries? What's going to change in that locker room? So at a time like this, you really see the heart and soul of a team when they're in an adverse situation. So those are massive concerns. I see when I was on the Giants in 2011, the year we went to the Super Bowl, I believe we had close to 30 guys on injured reserve.
Wow.
That's why I was there. They signed me up the street because they lost like 3 corners, and then the returner went down. I happened to do both.
How much at this stage do you still, because you're fresh into the broadcasting thing. How are you still watching the wires, watching the injury reports? Is there any part of you that is still keeping tabs on somebody making a call?
I don't keep tabs on anyone making a call. Obviously, I'm still in great shape. I can still go out there right now and play at an extremely high level. But it just got to the point where I literally called all 32 teams. I even was able to get some workouts on my own. Maybe a team worked me out because they wanted to do me a favor. I hustled my butt off. I called everybody.
Now, you called or your agent called?
I called. I called teams directly. Wow. Yeah. I actually been doing that pretty much my whole career. Like, if I was in a situation, I looked at it like, you know what, you can wait for your agent. You can let him earn his 3%. Mm-hmm. But I was to the point where I was like, this is my career. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take matters in my own hand. I put my pride down and I called people.
I wonder if it's too that you would have a better sense of the places that you would fit, the places that you'd like to play. Like, you'd have a better sense of where you'd like to play or where it made the most sense for you, more so even than your agent. Your agent's looking to get you a job.
No, I'm looking for a job because at this point, I'm trying to get on a team. It's different if I'm sought after, then I get to choose whoever I want to go to.
Right.
I'm the one calling teams.
Okay, but who you're calling first, isn't that
I'm calling
dictated?
I'm in the order of I call who I know best.
Okay.
And I know their situation. I'm not going to call a team that's loaded at defensive back and I know they don't need anybody. I'm watching the wire and saying that, hey, these guys could probably use something. I know every system. And so my thing is I can still play. I just got to the point where everyone's giving me the runaround. No one's telling me no. I'd rather someone just say, no, you're not good. You can't play anymore. Just be straight up and I'll move on from it. The hard thing for me is they're like, man, you look awesome. You look great. You need to be on a winning team, not us if we're rebuilding. You still got the juice. Oh, wow, you ran a 4.4. Oh, wow, you beat all your combine times at 33 years old when you were 21. I got all that, but nothing. So I was like, okay, then maybe it's a political thing. I even went and explored Canada. So I feel like I did everything in my power. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? If that's what it is, then I'd rather just be home with my family right now. And so be it. Leave with my health.
And what? And doing a podcast with me. Damn. It was right there. It was
sorry, my energy got low. That stuff bothers me a bit. It doesn't bother me like, oh, like I'm mad about. Actually, I guess I am mad because I am annoyed for the fact that I did deserve to be playing last year, and I deserve to be playing this year too.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of it doesn't make sense because people play favorites. And I got so over the politics, and I truly got over fighting for my life. Literally, I went into every single training camp, every single year, and fought for my life. And that got exhausting.
Well, I hate to break this to you, but the broadcast business can be a lot like that too. You wonder, you see people in profile positions.
No, I get it, and that's fine by me. Yeah. I'm fine with it, but it's crazy though. It's just crazy. That's just how it is. However, I did do a good job of maintaining all my relationships and not burning any bridges and being cool.
You are that. This is, as I'm getting to know you, you are genuinely, like, I was giving Ryan Hollins, our other podcast mate, a little bit of flack for being high maintenance, and you were steadfast in defending him. You were just like genuinely a really good dude across the board. Like, I just was being a little bit sarcastic, and you were making me feel bad. Like, yeah, you're right. Ryan is a teammate. Why am I being such a jerk? Like, why can't I be more like Will Black?
No, that's your fault then. You know what? Because I always try to understand the situation, so I put myself, either I've been there or I put myself in their shoes, you know? I still may not like it. I'm saying in terms of the issue with teams.
Yeah.
Why they did make certain decisions. I know for a fact if Scott McCloughan was still the GM of the Redskins, I'd still be there. That's a whole nother topic.
Okay. We'll save that for another time. Do you want to hit, you know what? We'll save this because we were going to hit Des Bryant and Brandon Marshall trying out for the Saints, but let's see where that goes, see what happens. And we can hit that. Time. Yeah, we can hit that in the next podcast. So that's it for today's Bucher and Blackman. Don't forget to follow Will on Twitter at Will Blackman and me at Rick Bucher. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. Keep in mind, we have a Jerry Rice autographed football. That is for one out of the first 50 who review going forward. And we had 22 reviews. So the next 50 are in line. It'll be a blind drawing. One of you will win an autographed football signed by Jerry Rice. Tweet us the review. It's easy. Just hit a star. Just screenshot it and send it to us at Bucher Friends, and you'll be entered to win. In the next podcast on Wednesday, Josh Jackson from the Phoenix Suns talked about a lot of things, including why a guy who established himself in his first year as a rookie nonetheless went back to Summer League and played another year in Vegas to work on his game. He'll explain that along with a lot of other things. It was a great conversation. Will, as always, a pleasure. Can't wait till we do it again next week.